Hello, Sarah, Paulina, Heather, Moish, Anna, Denise, Nicole, Brianna, Lukeisha, Jennifer, Rebecca, Stacy, and Yvette. Welcome to week 2 of Operations Management. Thank you all very much for all of the excellent discussion in the forum during week 1. I appreciate you getting us started off, Rebecca, with that list of top 10 skills for effective operations managers. I thought that was a great way to start the discussion and really pointed out some of the things that are crucial skills. And I especially like that it started off with 1, a full understanding of what the customers are asking for, and 2, effective communication. Because I really think that those are the top 2 skills for an operations manager. If you're in that field, understanding the needs of the customer, understanding what the customer wants is probably the most important thing. Because if you're going to create processes and procedures to produce a product or to produce a service that meets the customer's needs, that's what you need to understand first. What do they want? What do they need? And then to be able to communicate that information to everybody else in the organization that needs to know it, people at different places in the supply chain, so that they can do what they need to do so that the product or service is produced in a way that meets the customer's need and is available at a time that the customer wants it. Of course, the other 8 things are important too, but I really appreciated that those 2 things were at the top of the list. I want to say thank you as well for all of your examples from your personal experience. I think that's one of the most helpful things about these discussions is all of you have specific insights based on the organizations that you're a part of or businesses that you've had experience with. And so we see from your variety of experience that supply chains and operations management are different in different organizations, but operations management is part of pretty much every organization. It's not just in manufacturing, but service providers have operations management too, and have to think in these terms to be able to provide their services in the most cost-effective and most efficient way. So thank you, Rebecca, for talking a little bit about your school district. I think that that's a place where we don't often think deeply about operations management, but it's necessary. You think about all the different supplies that come in and out, all the different employees that work there, the different the different spaces that are utilized in different ways, and that somebody has to be thinking of how to use all those things in the best way possible to provide the education that is the service that the school district is providing. And all those things come together in different ways to provide the best education possible at the best possible cost. Heather, I appreciated your example from Walgreens too. Again, we might not think of a retail store as a place where operations management was crucial, but clearly it is. And as you described, when there isn't evaluation after a change happens, somebody in operations has an idea of, okay, well, we can combine this person's duties with that person's duties and just it'll be more efficient because we'll have less employees and they can still get the same amount of work done. Sometimes things like that look good on paper, but they don't work out so well. So a crucial part of operations management is, after changes have been made, to have evaluation to see how well those changes actually worked. Anna, I appreciated your insights from going over to visit Lego in Denmark. This is more of a classic operations management situation where Lego is clearly making use of the latest technology to do things as efficiently as possible and produce a really high quality product. Some people would say that the price is still a little on the high side, but but the quality of Lego as compared to Mega Bloks or any of the other similar items that are like Legos but aren't Legos. Lego quality is far superior. At least that's what my children tell me in no uncertain terms. So the last thing that I don't want this video to go too long, but the last thing I wanted to lift up a little bit is the differences between a value chain and a supply chain. And as you may remember, the idea of the value chain is a fairly recent idea. A book called The Competitive Advantage: Creating and Sustaining Superior Performance by Michael Porter in 1985. And his idea was, how is it possible for companies to gain more of a competitive advantage by adding more value to their product or service every step of the way in the process. So that was his focus, was the value chain. Was the concept of that was to improve processes so that the product would be produced, or the service would be produced at in a more cost-effective way, and ideally at a higher quality too, so that you would have an advantage over your competitors. The supply chain is simply everything that one needs to bring a product from the very beginning to delivered to a customer's hands, product or service. So it's all the different stages of creating, shipping, assembling, storing, putting on shelves in a retail establishment, all of those steps, marketing, everything that has a relationship to a product or a service is part of that supply chain that fits in at different places. And improvements in any one of those spots can make the process more efficient, more cost effective, or produce a product or service of higher quality. And it's by looking at those things closely in the supply chain that one can improve the product or service that the organization is delivering. And you see, it's not always something like cutting a cost or putting out the latest technology or doing something with fewer employees. That there are things that are more related to image and experience. Several of you talked in your papers about how a service is really selling an experience, a customer experience. And more that's true with products too, that it's the experience that people are purchasing. And when people have a good experience, they tend to return. And that might not necessarily rely solely on how high quality something is or how fast the service is or anything like that, but creating an experience that is a very positive one for the customer. And as I mentioned in the discussion forum, the changes that Alaska Airlines made with their check-in procedure, now some of them really did make things move along faster. The idea you have the person, the person that's checking you in, the check-in agent, at a kiosk, and on either side are two conveyor belts to take luggage. So it's constant motion. You take care of this person, and the next person already has their baggage on the conveyor belt, so it shaves off time. But another thing that maybe didn't really save any time at all, but they moved that setup so that you could see security. And I think that had a psychological effect on people and helped them to have the sense that they were moving along. They were making progress. They could see the next step and anticipate it and know that they were that much closer to getting on the plane and being on the way. And I think that had a very positive effect on customers as well. And it didn't really shave off any time or anything. It just made the experience better for people. And that these days is part of operations management, of figuring out how to make the product better, how to make the service more effective, and also how to make the experience better for the customer. So if there's any way that I could be helpful to you, please don't hesitate to reach out to me, and I look forward to reading your insights in this week's forum. Thank you.